Hello.
Thanks, buddy. Welcome back to Home Court Advantage PE. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how to juggle. I learned to juggle over 20 years ago at a PE workshop. Believe it or not, a kid taught me how to juggle at the workshop. He taught me to juggle using lightweight, colorful nylon scarves. Now, learning with scarves is definitely the best way to learn to juggle, but the problem is most people don't have scarves lying around their house. So today, I'm going to be using plastic grocery bags. Now, when I juggle at home with plastic grocery bags, I like to use bags that are 3 different colors. And that helps, if I'm teaching someone how to juggle, that helps me tell them which one to throw next. For example, throw the yellow one next, throw the gray one next, throw the brown one next. All right? So, when you're learning how to juggle, you always want to start with one. What I'm going to do is hold one plastic bag in my fingers, palm down, facing the ground, and all I'm going to do is throw across my body, release the bag about right here, and then catch straight down with my other hand, kind of like how a cat claws down at string. So I'm going to throw from one hand to the other. Here I go. Once I catch that bag, I throw it back to the original hand. Even a good juggler drops sometimes. And I'm just going to keep doing this. This will probably seem really easy, but it's very important that you get the technique right, because it's the exact same technique you're going to use for 2 and 3. All right? A good hit on throwing is kind of imagining you're pulling a tissue out of a box on your throw as you come up. Notice my palm is always coming down on top of the bag every time. After I've practiced 1 for a while, I'm going to move on to 2. I hold 1 in one hand, 1 in the other. I'm going to do the exact same thing, but this time, when the first bag gets to the top, I'm going to throw the second bag back across the same direction the first bag came from. All right? Now, let's just do the throws at first. Here I go. Notice I didn't catch them that time. I could have, but I decided to just demonstrate the throws. This time I will catch them. How do I know which one to catch first? Well, the first one I throw is the first one I catch, always. The first one I throw is the first one I catch. Also, notice that the throwing pattern is kind of like a big X. Kind of draws a big X, just like that, all right? One more hint. If I know that I'm doing it right, the scarves will always be in a different hand than they started in. I said scarves, I meant bags. I'm used to doing this with scarves. So the yellow bag will end up in this hand, the gray bag will end up in this hand. All right, so here I go. Do that again. All right, a little rhyme I like to say as I practice is criss-cross apple sauce. The first one I throw is the first one I catch. Make a big X. Criss-cross apple sauce. Make a big X. The first one I throw is the first one I catch. Once I feel really good about 2, and I feel pretty confident that I can do 2 for as long as I want to, I can move to 3. Now, 3 definitely takes some practice. But, just like anything else, practice makes perfect. Here's how I do 3. First thing I'm going to do is remember that I always start with 2 in one hand and 1 in the other hand. How do I hold 2 in one hand properly? Well, what I'm going to do is form what I call a ghost. I'm going to take one of the bags, put it in my hand, got the head of the ghost hanging out at the top, The body of the ghost hanging out at the bottom. Kind of looks like a little ghost. Looks better with scars, actually. There's what my ghost would look like with scars right there. All right. Once I have the ghost, I open up my 2 pincher fingers on the ghost hand. Just these 2. These 3, I use to keep the ghost in place. Open up just these 2 fingers. I take another bag and I pinch it in those 2 fingers. The last bag, I hold in my fingers on the other side. So now I have 2 in one hand, 1 in the other hand. Remember the rule. The rule with juggling 3 of any object in the world, whether it be bags, balls, grapefruits, toilet plungers, whatever you're juggling, you always start with the hand that has 2. Always. This would be wrong. Never start with that hand. All right? Which one specifically do I start with? Well, I start with the one that I'm pinching that's in the front in the hand that has 2, that's in front of the ghost. The ghost is actually going to be the last one I throw. All right? So here's the order. The one I'm pinching in the hand that has 2 goes first. When it gets to the top, I throw the one that's by itself second. Right after I throw the one that's by itself, this hand has to be ready to catch the one that I threw first. So it looks like this. In fact, what I'm doing right now is crisscross applesauce, which is the same thing I did when I was demonstrating 2 a minute ago. So here I go. I'm just going to do that part. Crisscross applesauce. Now, I never did throw my ghost. This time, I'm going to throw the ghost. When do I throw the ghost? Well, I throw the ghost right after I catch the first scarf that I throw. So right after I catch this gray scarf, this gray bag, in this hand, I will throw my ghost. Right after. Here I go. There. Boom. I just juggled. 1 complete time. Officially juggled right there. Now, show you one more time. I'll make a ghost with a different scarf this time. Make my pinch. 2 in this hand, 1 in that hand. Always start with the hand that has 2. Here I go. There. Now, the next step is to keep going. How do I keep going? Well, this is where you really got to practice on your own. But I'll give you some pointers. So, juggling sort of like walking. When you walk, it's right, left, right, left. Juggling's the same way. You throw with your right hand, you throw with your left hand. You throw with your right hand, you throw with your left hand. Of course, you have to catch as well. But you always do right, left, and just keep going. So, every time a scarf gets to the top, be prepared to throw. Notice I keep saying scarves. I'm very used to teaching this with scarves. These are bags, of course, but every time a bag gets to the top, be prepared to throw your next bag from the other side of your body with the other hand. Remember, right after you throw, the same hand that just threw has to catch the one that's up at the top that's on its way down. So here I go. Let's see if I can keep going. Remember, always alternating, right hand, left hand. All right. Got it now. Going. Concentrating, practicing. Oh, oh, oh. All right, so I kept going. Now, like I said, ideally, you'd have a set of juggling scarves you could practice with at home, which works much better. All right? But bags do a pretty good job, and they're cheap. Well, they're free. And most people have these laying around their house. Now, before we go, I'd like to do a quick ball juggling demonstration. I have my own set of juggling balls here. These weren't very expensive. They're probably $5 a set. You could go to Walmart and buy a can of 3 tennis balls for about $1.90. You could pretty much juggle any small round object. Rolled up socks work great. Rolled up tinfoil works good. Don't recommend juggling with eggs because For obvious reasons, that's not going to be a good thing. Make sure whatever you're practicing with isn't too hard. Golf balls are bad, rocks are bad. Got to be something that won't hurt anybody or break anything. Let me give you a quick ball juggling demonstration. So, if you'll notice, when I'm juggling with juggling balls, they fall much faster than the bags or scarves did. That's why it's so important to learn to juggle with scarves or bags first. All right? Now, when I was taking a walk the other day, I found 3 oranges on the side of the road. And these are kind of heavy. If they're a little smaller, they'd probably be better, but they work almost as good as the balls. Show you what I'm talking about. I like the sound they make when they hit my hands. I like how they feel when they hit my hands. It was pretty nice, actually. The juggling pattern is exactly the same as I did when I was juggling with the bags. The main difference is instead of my hand throwing and catching like that, I'm scooping. I'm going back and forth, scooping, up and under. So instead of throwing my palm down and catching like a cat, instead of doing that, I would scoop up and under, catch with my other hand. Palms facing up. Notice how my elbows are mostly by my side. Back and forth, hand to hand, trying to have the same height on all my throws. I don't want to be high on some, low on some. All right? And we move to 2. Remember my little rhyme from the bag juggling? Crisscross applesauce. Crisscross applesauce. Crisscross applesauce. Make a big X. The first one I throw is the first one I catch. I'm going to throw this one first. Has a little cut in it, I see. Throw this one second, so I'm going to catch this one first. I'm going to catch this one second. Here we go. Crisscross applesauce. Crisscross applesauce. Crisscross applesauce. The first one I throw is the first one I catch. Make a big X. The biggest mistake people make when learning how to juggle balls is throwing forward. It helps to imagine there's an invisible wall in front of you that you can't throw through. In fact, when I was learning how to juggle, I used to practice with a real wall. I heard someone say once, imagine you're staying in a phone booth. They don't really have phone booths anymore, but if you know what a phone booth is, it's a little building about this big you stand in, and all your throws have to be within that phone booth. So I got the wall in front of me, my throws cannot go through that wall, okay? But here's what will happen to everyone that learns to juggle. Happened to me, happens to everybody. You'll throw your first throw good, and your second throw will go forward. You almost can't help it at first. So it'll look sort of like this. Sort of like that. All right? So, the key is to scoop your throws and to throw sideways. And imagine there's a wall in front of you. So, there we go. Fixed it. Fixed it. The ball should almost come down exactly where your hands are waiting for them. All right? So now I'm going to move on to 3. It's kind of tricky to hold 3 juggling balls. It's kind of tricky to hold 2 in one hand, especially when they're big like this. Here's what I do. Choose the hand I'm going to start with. Hold my ghost. It's not really a ghost anymore because it's an orange this time, or a ball this time. Take my ghost, still calling it the ghost though. Hold it with just these 2 fingers. Just these 2 fingers right here. Pinky, ring finger. Holding it just like that. I have these 3 fingers all available to hold this one. And this one is super important because this is going to be the one that I throw first. So I have 2 in this hand now. I have 1 in this hand. Always start with the front one, the first one in the hand that has 2. All right? So here I go. Just like I did with bags a minute ago. Start with the front one, the first one in the hand that has 2. Throw it up. It's going to go to about right here. I'm going to come back and throw with this hand. All right? Now, when I was doing bags a minute ago, I didn't throw my ghost yet, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm not going to throw my ghost yet. Here I go. Crisscross applesauce. So it's going to be the exact same thing I did earlier with bags. I'm going to throw my ghost right after I catch the first one I throw. Right after I catch it. So right after I catch this one, I'm going to throw my ghost. Here I go. Remember, I'm going to catch this one in this hand. Here, so it's going to be throw, throw, or crisscross. Here I go. Boom, right there. Got it. All right, try that one more time. Remember, first, second, third. The first one I throw is this one. Is also the first one I catch. Here I go. Always start with the hand that has two. Now, so basically it's, instead of crisscross applesauce, it's crisscross apple throw. Crisscross, boom. Oh. Crisscross apple throw. Here I go. I should say orange throw. Crisscross apple throw. Right there. Boom. Right there. Now let's see if I can keep going for a second. Alright. I'll probably do another video another time on juggling tricks that I've learned over the years and maybe how to become a master juggler. Right now I'm just focusing on the basic juggling style, which is called cascades. Alright? So I'm not doing anything but basic cascade juggling right now. Like I said, I'll probably do another video on juggling tricks and master juggling another time. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. And this is a great activity because you can do it at home with bags or oranges or whatever else you may find laying around the house. Thank you for watching.